What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Box Out Boys podcast. We are the NBA podcast of the people, your home for lukewarm takes and substandard analysis. I'm Titus Two Shots Dominguez, and joining me tonight, it's the stats man, Chris Gorman. Hit him with the stats, Chris.
Hey. I got a stat. Obviously, everyone knows this, I think, already, especially if you listen to this podcast, but I'm just going to reiterate right now. The Golden State Warriors lead the league in Q3 net rating at 30.7 points plus differential, which is insane. Then you got the Detroit Pistons at a minus 25 in the third quarter. But they do have a plus 11 in the fourth, the Detroit Pistons. That's mostly because they have a minus 11 in the second and minus 10 in the first. So a positive net rating in the fourth isn't always a good thing. The Detroit Pistons are really show why it may not be a good thing.
They're certainly having a time. He's also getting minutes tonight. It's the lawn boss, Joey McCroskey. Get that, Joe.
Hello. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
What are you thankful for?
Our super producer, Adam.
There he is, making a sound as delicious as Dove. It's the producer, the professional, Adam Bruns. How the levels tonight, Adam?
Everything's sounding gobbly.
Ooh, gobbly. And unzip that fleece. Oh, we're off.
Don't have to put in sound effects now. Great. Thanks, guys. I'm thankful for that.
I'm thankful for your own sound effects. Well, we have a fun show lined up tonight. We're going to get into a lot of different things. We're going to debate some early MVP and finals contenders. We're going to debate Steph versus Kobe. That was brought up last week. So if you're joining us again, we're going to
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant, yes. The legendary Kobe Bryant, not Kobe White, who is a decent off-the-bench player for the Chicago Bulls. We're definitely going to talk Bulls. We're going to go around the league a little bit. Lots of fun stuff tonight. Let's get right into it. We'll get up here into the jump ball. All right, boys. Let's go to you, Chris. I know you had some thoughts. You watched a lot of games this week. Who's on your mind around the league tonight?
I got some games. So obviously the Warriors are on our mind like they are every week. But I first want to start with because everyone's talking about the Golden State Warriors as like the new favorite to win the championship, and I just don't see it. I just don't. I look at the guys. They don't have the guys. I don't like.
They don't have guys. Wow.
But the team that does have the guys, in my opinion, is the Brooklyn Nets, and this team is playing like ass. And this team is still first in the East. They're still like what 12-5. I didn't even check prior to this pod.
Be 13 now, yeah.
13-5, and they're still like everyone knows that the Nets kind of don't look great, but when you look at the standings, like this team's the best team in the East, and
they're like a quiet 11-5 or 12-5.
Quiet one seed.
Yeah,
and
it's weird.
Nothing kept it off more than when they played the Cavaliers the other night, and the Cavaliers were in control of that game. Darius Garland doing Darius Garland kind of things. Everyone will know what that means soon enough because Darius Garland's coming into his own. And they were up 102, 103, 102 with about 3 minutes left. But then, just the last few plays of the game, Durant Harden do the smart moves. And you got young guys in Jared Allen and Darius Garland just not able to do it. And that's what does it. The Nets just have the smart players to close out, and they know how to win.
Yeah,
and
they have two elite guys.
A lot to do that. So the Nets are still, in my opinion, the number one team to win it, even without Kyrie.
Wow, that's
kind of my takeaway, I guess. Watching games this week.
I guess we'll dive deeper into that when we talk about contenders. But I'm kind of a little bit with you, Chris, on the Nets as far as especially their bench and some of their role players haven't been as productive as they hoped. But you still have Durant, you still have Harden. Harden's kind of coming into his own a little bit, and now he's kind of done complaining about fouls, at least a little bit, trying to get some baskets the old-fashioned way, I think. And Durant's a beast, MVP contender or MVP, candidate for sure. And he's keeping them afloat. Like you said, it's really weird that people aren't talking about them as far as how well they're playing. But like you said, they are a top seed in the East, and it's very interesting to think about what would they be like if Kyrie was on the team and playing. It would be very interesting. Joey, what do you think about the Brooklyn Nets or maybe even the Warriors too?
Yeah, I think that's a great take. I mean, Durant has been so fun to watch this year. I think it's been more fun without Kyrie there. We're getting to see him at his full best, especially with Harden struggling a little bit. Harden has obviously started to come around and get a little bit into his own. But yeah, the bench has been, or I guess not the bench, but their role players have been shockingly missing from this season. Blake Griffin has not been anything, and I don't think anybody thought he should have been. But last year he gave us something, which kind of gave you some hope that he was going to be a pretty big piece for them, and he's been pretty much non-existent this year. Same with Joe Harris. I know he's been injured for a little while, but even before that, he wasn't producing like he was last year. Went from being the most efficient three-point shooter in the league last year to kind of just not really showing up for anything. So it's been fun to watch KD do his thing. I'm excited that I have him on my fantasy team, and it's been very good for the points. But on the Warriors side, and the Warriors have been ridiculous. They continue to just blow your mind of what you think should be possible. Again, still excited to see. We talked about this last week, but excited to see what they look like when Clay is back. I heard he's doing full contact 5-on-5, so they should be welcoming him back any day now, I would guess. Yeah,
it's definitely interesting to see what they're going to be coming up. And another team that's kind of been maybe I think they're kind of getting their due this last week as far as like the podcasts I've heard and stuff. But the Phoenix Suns are on a 13-game streak and going again tonight, right? I believe. And they have been looking great. Sneaky team. I think they're kind of maybe like the best case scenario of what the Bulls could potentially be. I know we talked about that, or the Bulls, the Bulls, the Suns of this season and whatnot. But I watched a couple of their games over the week. Man, I love their two-man game, their pick and roll. A lot of their actions are run off of whether it's Ayton screens or Bridges screens. And they get a lot of good motion off it. They got a lot of dives to the basket. And if that's not open, you got an open jumper for Booker or for Chris Paul. And then there's a lot of action kind of off on the backside of that, where the guys off the ball are moving around and getting open threes. So they look like a solid team and definitely look like they're going to be, in the mix going forward. Chris, I know you had some thoughts on the Suns, man. What do you think about them?
I like the Suns. What are my notes on the Suns? My favorite thing with the Suns, I was looking at that streak, that 13-game win streak, just to see what the teams they played. It's like, okay, who are these teams? Like, kind of when the Warriors started in the beginning, it wasn't the best teams, but they're obviously proven to be good teams as well now. The Suns they beat the Dallas Mavericks back-to-back games, but both at Dallas, which doesn't happen too often. That's a scheduling failure, in my opinion. That should, you should be at Dallas and at Phoenix. Anyways, they won both those games, which one of those is obviously a schedule loss and would have been everyone would have understood why you lost that game. Yeah. No one would put it against you, but they beat them. And this team, they know who they are. They did it last year. They got Chris Paul at the one. They're a traditional, quote unquote, kind of team. They got a premier point guard, a number one overall pick at center, great scoring option in Booker, a great kind of do it all guy, Michael Bridges, and then Jay Crowder, kind of just being that hustler kind of guy, the brute force, as you may in the team. So, this team's just solid. They're kind of like, in my opinion, the new Spurs. I know like the No Dunks guys are talking about the new Jazz, but like the Spurs, Jazz, whatever you want to say, they kind of like set the bar of a good team that's going to take to get to the championship. You can beat them, great, but like they're going to be consistent. You got to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves.
Yeah, they're definitely not going to beat themselves. They have a lot of good role players. The guys you mentioned, I have them written down in my notes: Paul, Booker, Bridges, Crowder, and Ayton, as being like a solid closing lineup. When I was watching their games, when I saw those guys playing together, that was like a lineup that I looked at. I'm like, wow, there's no weaknesses, no flaws in that lineup. The solid, just group of guys. It looks, like I said, looks very similar to the Bulls lineup when they had everybody healthy. And, they went to the finals last year. They're playing at an elite level this year, and they could possibly go even further. So, who knows? Anybody else got anything from around the league? You kind of want to get into some MVP and finals contenders talk.
I was going to throw something about on the Grizzlies. So you had the Grizzlies Jazz game the other night. I think it was Monday night. Really good game overall. Grizz ended up winning by one kind of last minute. I wrote down some stats, though, from the Grizzlies. So Ja went 9 for 30 for 32 points. Desmond Bain went 12 of 20 for 28 points. Yes. And Jaren Jackson Jr. went 9 of 19 for 26. What stood out to me there was Ja went 9 of 30. Took 30 shots, get 32 points.
A lot of shots.
A lot of shots, but the guy was fearless at the end of the game. There was a jump ball, kind of some absolute chaos going on. he got the ball past him, and he absolutely, I mean, he just went straight to the hoop, kicked it out. They made the three, put them up by 1, which they ended up winning by. But just kind of looking at it, I think they're currently in the play-in tournament at number 7. Just looking at their team, and obviously last year they had Valanciunas, and they chose to trade him away in the offseason this year. So they, took their best player, stat wise. I know Ja is probably their best player, but I think stat wise, Jonas was it, and moved him along, and obviously decided, hey, we're going to ride with Ja and Bane and Jaren Jackson Jr. and see what happens. So, they've got to expect that they're going to be out of the play-in tournament this year. It got to be 6 or better, but right now they're just kind of middling about 5-5 in their last 10 and currently sitting 7th place. So hopefully they can turn around. I think it'd be awesome to see Ja in an actual playoff series, not having to go through the play-in to get there first, and kind of get him on the map as one of the premier players.
Yeah, for sure. They will be in that playoff or play-in playoff mix, lower playoff mix. I really do hope they kind of get into the playoff. I would love to see them in a series. Like you said, Ja is so fun to watch. And, I know they've been kind of struggling a little bit lately, but, they're such a fun team, young team.
I got a quick thing with the Grizzlies, but kind of by accident, really. I want to talk about the Timberwolves real quick. They played the Grizzlies, I think 2 nights prior to the game Joey was talking about, where the Timberwolves got a 43-point victory, which is the largest victory this year in the NBA. Anthony Edwards, pretty sure it was like 6 for 6, 5 for 5 in the first half from 3. Unreal stats what this man's able to do. The potential is through the roof. 2nd year in the league.
He's fun.
He's a good guy. He's someone you want on your team.
He's a guy.
And he's the reason for this season, the reason why this team will make the playoffs as potentially the 6th seed. Honestly,
potential.
They're probably better. No, not at the 6th seed. No, it's not. They're gonna have to play into their way. But honestly, I think they're better than the Lakers.
Whoa.
They would be playing the Lakers today for the play-in tournament.
Yeah, better than
if it started. Yeah.
Whoa, that would be interesting.
Obviously, they beat Memphis, but I don't know, man. That's what's fun about the NBA. Like Memphis can get blown out by Minnesota, but then beat Utah 2 nights later. So that was fun. It's fun to see that.
No, that's happening all over the league. I mean, the Bulls got wiped by the Pacers, who were 9-8 at the time, too. You know, not playing great, but getting their guys back, getting their groove. So, yeah, it's wild league. All right, real quick as we move on here, we got a little comment in the chat from Big Daddy Kumquat. Going to the holiday weekend, who is your turkey team or player so far? I wanted to answer this one because I would have the Lakers for sure as my turkey team of the year. They're supposed to be no doubt about it, finals contender. They do not look like it so far in this year. You guys got a turkey team or player going into the holiday weekend?
I'm going to jump on board with the Lakers and pick a player off of there. My player being LeBron James is the turkey player for his elbow incident of Isaiah Stewart. I think it's fresh in my mind. So, close to the holiday, definitely the turkey player of the month so far for his heinous actions.
I know Big Daddy will enjoy that.
Yes.
That comment.
Yeah, we don't need to get too into that, but I think that's a good discussion. Call him the turkey for now and be done. No, it was not inadvertent.
Anyways,
it's inadvertent, but let's
get out of here.
I'll stick with the Lakers trend here and go with the Russell Westbrook as my turkey player. He had some quotes after one of their games. After they lost, I think the other night without LeBron. And he said Lakers didn't play hard enough to start tonight to loss to the Knicks. When we decided to play harder, it made a significant difference. And Russ, to a question about his turnovers, it's funny you mentioned turnovers. I haven't heard you ask me that in like 5 games. Ha ha ha. You guys are funny, man. And it's like, it turns out you won't get asked about your turnovers if you don't turn over the ball 10 times in one game. Russ, it's not hard.
Russ is russing it out there in LA.
He's russing
it. And man, all right. So I think we kind of transition here into our MVP candidates and finals contenders. Maybe start with finals contenders a little bit here. The Lakers are not on my list. I'll give you guys my quick. I have 6 teams that I put them in an order, and then we kind of go off of that. So my number 1 team right now is Phoenix. I think that the 13-game win streak, the finals appearance last year, Right now, 18, 20 games into the season, they would be my number one finals contender. And number 2, I have Golden State right behind them. I have number 3, I have Brooklyn. Number 4, Milwaukee. I know they're not playing great right now. That's more of a respect pick there. I feel like they should be in it, and they will kind of get things together as their guys get healthy. Number 5, I have Utah. Again, respect pick. They got to prove it, but for sure they're in the mix. And then number 6, I have Miami. What do you guys think, Joey?
Ooh. There's a couple omissions.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to include Miami, I feel like you have to include Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm at that point.
That point. The Bulls
yeah.
would have been 7th on my list if I went 70, but I didn't.
Well, why'd you stop at 6 then?
So
no one told you to stop at 6.
I stopped at 6. I felt like
you
that
run the pod. You're the host.
You're the host. You can do whatever you want.
You can go wherever.
This is your thing.
This is yours.
No, I think where I hold up on the Bulls is I don't see them as a true finals contender the way I do Miami. I know Miami's record is a little bit worse than the Bulls right now, but I feel like the pedigree Miami got there a couple years ago.
12-6.
Oh, 12-6. Okay, the same record.
Yeah.
And Miami got there a couple years ago with Jimmy Butler,
as
adding Kyle Lowry, who as a 5th seed, who was a finals champion. I think that they kind of have a little bit of pedigree, even though they haven't done it as a team. And their net rating, I think they're number 3 or number 4 in the league. They're above
7.4. Yeah,
they're above
best in the East.
Yeah, they're best in the East and only behind I think Golden State and Utah.
Yep.
So, they look serious. Where the Bulls were I think 5th and 6th or 6th in net rating, and just kind of I don't think that they are quite there yet. But that was why I left them off. But any other rebuttals? Would you maybe have a different team number 1? I would Phoenix number 1, but
I think you're okay leaving the Bulls off for their pedigree just based on the game they're currently playing. I'm just gonna.
Oh man! All right. Anyways, Brooklyn's number 1 team. If I'm looking into the playoffs, the playoffs start tomorrow. We're all like, okay, who's taking who? Everyone's taking Brooklyn. I don't care.
Mm-mm.
Maybe some people are jumping.
I'm taking Golden State.
Yeah, even without. But assuming
go ahead.
Back, right? So we're still assuming a few months out here, but. No, Brooklyn is still the number 1 team. This team is insane, man. Like I don't get it. I get it. Durant is out of his mind. I know Golden State blew out Brooklyn that other night at Brooklyn, and that should have been a statement game. But in my mind, it's so early in the season, still it kind of doesn't matter to me. I'm still just really high on Brooklyn because of what I expect from them to happen later this year. So Brooklyn would be our number 1. Phoenix is your number. So Phoenix is the number 1 team to win the championship right now.
In my opinion,
the Phoenix Suns, the Phoenix, Arizona, hot, sunny Suns. I
just think they got there last year. I don't think it was as much of a fluke as maybe we thought last year. I know I definitely was somebody coming into the season who thought
Jamal Murray got hurt. Kawhi Leonard got hurt.
I thought their run was a little fluky, but at the end of the day, like injuries are part of it.
LeBron got hurt. I forgot the first round.
It was AD that got hurt. LeBron was there.
Oh, it was AD. Sorry. Yeah, you're right.
LeBron was not getting it done. And I think maybe kind of to your point, I don't really trust Brooklyn all that much. I know they're a really great team. I would feel differently about them if Kyrie was playing. I think without Kyrie, I think they're beatable. Now, I don't think that anybody can beat them, but I don't think they're going to be the dominant runaway team that they maybe should be with those 3 guys.
And actually, and to your point, Titus, can anyone name who the 3rd leading scorer is on the Brooklyn Nets?
Oh, Patty Mills, maybe?
Bruce Brown.
Oh, it's Bruce Brown.
No, definitely not Bruce Brown. He's the defensive presence. It's LaMarcus Aldridge.
Ooh, okay.
13.4. Patty Mills 4th at 11.9. Right. Bruce Brown 7th at 7.8. Yeah.
No, but like
Joe Harris.
To me, beyond Harden and KD, I don't know what that team is. And the games that I've watched of them, it just looks like if you can kind of lock up KD, lock up Harden, the rest of the team is not going to beat you. And I would
if
be more
you can lock up KD, and if you that's
slow them down.
You know, they
easier
can have off
said
games.
than done.
Like it's all. We talked about this last year with the Suns a lot, right? Was when they got into the playoffs and we started watching their games more, we were like, wow, they're an actual like full complete team. You know, we looked at it and said everything about them screams like team basketball, and that's going to really pan out. It's going to work well for them, and it absolutely did. I think we're going to see the repeat of that this year. And I think to Titus's point is you're fully relying on two guys on the Nets, and those two guys happen to be KD and James Harden, which
are the top 5
four
players.
Guys, right? But in any given night, those guys can have off nights. They can have a foot on the line, all that kind of stuff. And if you don't have, if you don't have, some people to back you up and bring it along when those nights happen, those teams are gettable. So, I think
I still like Milwaukee. I like Titus I like that you threw in Milwaukee.
Yeah, that was a respect.
I think they're still a respectable pick, even though they're trying. It's still early on. We don't want to talk too much.
They're coming. They're coming.
I think they're like a late January. We got to see where they're at, because there's a lot of injuries right now.
Philly,
and see what comes around end of January, beginning of February. Are the injuries gone? Is the COVID done? Is Embiid doing Embiid things? Is Middleton back with
on that team? That's the thing. Philly's so Embiid dependent. But honestly, one thing. Sorry, I cut you off. But one thing I want to talk about Philly. Tyrese Maxey is what Philly wanted in Markelle Fultz. And it's kind of funny because Markelle Fultz was traded essentially for Tyrese Maxey because it was the pick, and Tyrese was a 28th overall pick, it was 20 something. He's averaging 17 points a game. I don't know what it is, but he's the real deal. He's awesome. And if they can just get Embiid back and Tobias Harris, being the mid guy that he is, I still like Philly to kind of surprise some teams.
I think them and Milwaukee for sure they're in the wait and see. I'm not worried about them all that much. They're all slowly moving up the standings, so they will be there at the end of the season for sure. It's just like you said, can they beat Brooklyn? Can they beat a Miami team? Can they beat the
one
Bulls?
team? The one team I am out on, I think you guys will agree with, who is the same record as Milwaukee and Philly, is Boston.
I'm not out on them yet, but I'm not they're not a contender for me. But I could see them maybe kind of battling the Bulls a little bit for a spot in the playoffs, potentially down the road.
We'll see. Yeah,
we'll see. But all right. Any other contenders? You guys want to kind of move into MVP guys?
Let's do MVP guys.
All right. You want me to go again? I got 6 deep here.
You got 6 deep. Let's go.
6 deep. I went 6 deep.
Where you did your research this week. All right.
Just going 6 deep, man. All right.
Stops at 6.
All right. Stop it at 6. Number 1 is Steph, MVP, current leader. I feel like that's a no-brainer. Number 2, I have KD. Also feels like a no-brainer. Number 3, I have Giannis. Number 4, Chris Paul. Number 5, Rudy Gobert. And number 6, DeMar DeRozan. Thoughts?
Number 5, Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, I feel like I got to get somebody off Utah. And
who's number 4 for you again? Sorry,
Chris Paul.
Chris Paul.
So Paul George isn't on this list.
No, he's not on this list. I know he's playing great, but the Clippers just aren't. I don't know. Where are they at in the standings? They're not that high, right?
They're 6th.
6th.
They are
5th.
I got it up. Yeah, 5th.
5th in the West.
That might just be a blind spot for me, as I just don't catch a lot of Clippers games.
I'm surprised. I'm just surprised you added Rudy Gobert, considering your disdain for him.
I do hate him, but I feel like Utah's in the mix. He's clearly their best player. He's having a solid season, and he needs to be in the conversation.
I guess.
I don't think he'll win it, but is the 5th slot? What do you guys think? Is it crazy?
I like Paul George. We shouldn't spend too much time on your 5th.
Yeah, my 5th.
But Curry, Durant,
and Giannis, I feel like Giannis is
Giannis. Yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer. So that's why I want to kind of hammer on your Rudy Gobert, even though I'm a big guy lover, and he's the only big guy in your team.
Well, Giannis, Giannis isn't a big.
I barely count him. I don't know. It's such a unique. He's a unicorn. It's such a whole different.
That's true. It's a different animal. He's not a big guy lover like yourself.
I think Giannis loves the big guys, but anyways.
Yeah,
I think I would swap in Embiid.
Oh, you know what? That's a probably.
He's been down with the COVID injuries.
Yeah,
but
I think that's kind of why.
I think Embiid needs to be in there.
I think they're 1-6 without him.
Yes, I just looked it up. They're 1-6 without him.
So they're 9-2 with him.
So if there's any case for the most valuable player, it's clearly him.
Yeah,
based on
that's an omission by me.
I think. So I'm good with Steph and KD at the top. Giannis is good. Rudy can go. You can put in Joel for that one.
Yeah, I agree.
DeMar, I like DeMar in there. I think
It's
I
a
think
nice
it's just
nod.
fun. It's just a fun nod pick. I think,
And
he deserves it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chris Paul, take it or leave it. I think that's a fine pick right now.
Yeah, it's like
I think by the time we have this conversation again in a month, we'll probably not have him on the list. I think it's just they're gonna get overshined, or someone on that team is gonna overshine him. Hopefully Booker or Ayton comes through and kind of takes that from him.
I agree. Yeah, DeMar, it's not a serious one. I don't think he's going to be a legit contender at the end of the season. I just think right now, with the way the Bulls are playing, the way he's been playing, he's got to be in the mix right now. 20 games in.
One omission too that is kind of surprising, that I think it was your favorite at the start of the season, Luka Doncic.
Yeah,
the team's 10-7. They're fourth in the West, but they're playing. They're like the Brooklyn of the East.
Yeah, it's kind of like
they're playing like crap, but they still have a positive record.
Yeah.
I just think there's other guys ahead of him that maybe have more of a narrative. I feel like I just don't know if he's going to have the juice to go up against Steph and KD this year. So I think it's going to be one of those two.
Before we go into our next topic, which just sounds like we're going to, and I think I know our next topic, should we talk about Sabonis as a potential MVP candidate, or is that not
the way he kicked our ass on?
Yeah. What do the no dunks guys say? He's at the Mater D table trying to get to the table. He's not quite at the table yet. He's kind of waiting around for something.
He's better than Julius Randle, 100%.
Yes,
agreed.
And the only reason no one knows his name is because it's an awful name, Sabonis.
I love his name,
and because he's in Indiana, not New York.
He plays for the Pacers.
It's where he plays for the Pacers. But let's, like Chris alluded to, it's time for your Chicago Bulls talk, baby. Bulls lost the other night. Not a great fashion.
It was not good.
It's not good. One way to put it lightly.
It's all right. That's a game they can lose. I'm okay with that loss.
I guess I'm not okay with what's happening tonight. Currently down 93-86 against the 1-16 Houston Rockets.
That is
correct. Trouble could be brewing for sure if they lose this game tonight. I think if they lose this game tonight, it's maybe a little bit of a Bulls panic mode.
Gonna need a players only meeting here.
Yeah, we'll have to get into it. So before we get into it, I'll just give you guys a couple of notes that I have taken, some concerns that I have with the Bulls, especially against the Pacers game. Again, maybe not the worst loss against the Pacers in the world, but I've just noticed at times the offense gets stagnant. Lots of ISO. I'm a little concerned with the amount of threes that they shoot and make. I know that they can make them. I just the Pacers game is a great example. They got down so big, it takes a lot of work to get back into those games when you're only shooting twos. As much as we love Io, he makes some mistakes. He makes some real mistakes, and I'm curious what that's going to happen with that. And then the other thing that makes me a little nervous is I feel like they're their best when they're out in transition, and when they can't get into transition, it really shows when they get short, stuffed in the half court offense, like the Knicks game, the Pacers game. It just slows them down. They don't score a lot of points. Joey, what do you think, man, about the Bulls the last couple games?
Yeah, I think the thing that I'm seeing the most is teams have started to figure out what the Bulls want to do and what they're good at, and that is DeMar getting to the mid-range, Levine coming off pick and rolls or like cross-court screens, and Caruso playing just crazy defense. So you've seen teams make adjustments to, not let DeRozan get to a spot, to double him, double Zach, and you need to have other players step up. And up until the other night, they didn't have a player who could do that. Yes, Kobe White came in against the Knicks and they won that game because of Kobe White. I will say it. I will admit it. They don't win that game without him scoring those 14 points. So you can clip that. But they need to have that on a consistent level. Yes. They also need to figure out something for teams that have useful big men. So Vooch has obviously been down for 10 games, whatever it was with COVID. Tony Bradley was not the answer. They tried to go with Derek Jones Jr. a few times. He played extremely well. I think the one game he had 16 points, a couple big Showtime dunks, good defense. But he gets in foul trouble because he's undersized and he's playing against guys bigger than him. The only reason he can stick with that is because he's got crazy jumping ability. So that's a thing that can work, but it's just not sustainable. So, and again, tonight they've got Vooch back, and it's not really yielding quite the results that they needed to be. So the Bulls still have the offensive firepower. It just needs to start clicking on a consistent basis. Lonzo needs to score more consistently. And
he was like 0 for 9, right, against the Pacers?
Right, and that's the thing. It's like when he's on. You know, he'll have those games where he only shoots threes and he's making all of them, and it's just a fantastic thing. And there's other games where he can't buy a bucket for anything. So I don't know what to make of them right now as an honest, just viewer. I think they still have great offense. It seems like they can have a great defense. They just all got to get in on it. The Pistons or the Pacers game, you could flush that one, forget about it, off the long road trip, the tough game against the Knicks. But, there are games that they're going to have to win, one tonight that they're looking like they're not going to get, and they need to find a way to win some of these games. My one last point is I have absolutely gained a huge disliking of Julius Randle. Watching him in that game against the Bulls, I could not stand him. The dude was throwing elbows, standing over people. I mean, he was just everywhere, and he got every call. He got every call on the floor he could possibly get. And that game was a tough officiating game.
Yeah, that was a rough one.
Both sides of it, but Randall was just getting anything he wanted. And I kind of was like, I can't stand this guy, and I don't care if he ever does anything useful in the league ever again. But I'm done. Thank you.
No, I love what you're bringing up. I think maybe something like a way to sum it up is I just don't think the Bulls' margin for error is that much. I think they're a really good team. They're a solid team. But they have to come out and perform every night. They can't just like roll the balls out and beat people.
It's a good way. Yeah.
Yeah. Their margin for error is very slim. And, I think it's showing against the Pacers. Like you said, it was, third game in 4 nights, I believe. It was, off a long road trip, off the, the kind of the up game against New York, maybe looking like an easy win in their minds, and it didn't pan out. The same thing tonight with, the Rockets coming in or going to Houston. You think you're going to kind of get these guys, but it's not happening. So they need to be locked in a little better. Chris, you got any thoughts on the Bulls?
I don't have too many thoughts this week. You guys are always so negative, it feels like, about the Bulls, even though they look so good. That Kobe victory was a coming out party for him.
The Kobe victory.
The Kobe victory. That's how we refer to it.
It is. He's
Kobe.
the reason they won that game.
You're right.
You're right. In the fourth quarter.
Kobe victory.
It was unbelievable what he was able to do for them, and he's the firecracker off the bench. And
he's got 3 points tonight on 1 of 5 shooting.
Everybody on that team tonight is not shooting well. We don't need to go through all of the.
Let's not bring up the stats.
Yeah, we don't need to go through all of them right now. But no, you got Lonzo, you got Levine, you got DeRozan, you got 4 guys that could shoot a 3 and blow it up any single night, and it's an exciting team to watch right now. And even though then Kobe started, I think the next game against Indiana,
that did not look good.
Don't start him right now. It's still too new. He should have probably gone to the G League for a day or two. Anyways,
hang on. Sorry, Chris. Titus, did you see that guy's shirt? Is that what you were making?
No, I saw the thunder dunk from Levine.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, they showed a guy on the screen at the
I
Rockets
think I
game
did see the shirt
says Fauci lied, and they panned off of that shit real quick.
Some hot takes down there.
All right.
Sorry, Chris. Great point, though. I think. You said something on there.
You had some great points somewhere there, but
with DeRozan and the 3 ball, I think he needs to keep making that shot more consistently. Like he's shown, I think this year that he's making that at a much higher clip than he's in his entire career, and everybody is just expecting him to go to his spot in the mid range. And I think if he starts to hit that, it's just going to open everything up. I feel like they're just too predictable, and they have their style of play, and they can't do much else outside of that, which is I think what Titus is saying, their margin of error is so off. If their game doesn't work, they can't find it at anywhere else.
Yeah. If Lonzo's not hitting shots. Yeah.
So DeMar DeRozan's having the second best season of his career so far since 2016. I'm looking at his career stats right now. I'm expecting a regression. Should we all be expecting, or do you guys actually think he'll continue this throughout the season?
I think it could continue. My concern with DeRozan has always been, I just don't know if he's that, like, if he's your best player and he's having a great season, I just don't know what that does for you. And I've always thought that he needs to be the second option behind Levine, and Levine needs to be the better.
That's the thing.
player,
Yeah,
but
he's been the primary over Levine.
yeah,
right?
he's been the primary, and
Yeah.
I'm okay with it. They're kind of more like a 1A 1B situation right now, and it's been flowing. And I think if the role players are playing a little more consistently, like Joey's saying, I think it really eases that. The problem gets to be when Lonzo's having an off night, when Caruso's not getting the steals and not getting into transition, and Kobe's, putting up an offer, and Vooch is missing the bunnies. That's when it starts to become ISO heavy. It starts to get very predictable, and then I think the Bulls are beatable then.
Yeah. I think if it gets to that point where it's ISO heavy and very predictable, we've seen Zach deliver more on that. And I still think he becomes the guy in those types of situations. When they're running their offense still in a close game, DeRozan is the guy. So it's almost like, hey, if the defense is going to stop, our situational go-to basketball, Levine's going to go to work and do his thing, which can work because he's a much better creator and a much better scorer than DeMar. But when they're in their offense and they have to, and they're playing their kind of normal way, DeRozan's the guy, and they use Levine more as not like a decoy, but they're letting him run and letting him do his thing. So I think it just depends on it. I don't know if it's bad that he's your primary guy right now. I think that's maybe just a sign of maybe some teams playing some better defense on Zach and, trusting that he's gonna hurt you because he
maybe that's
shown
what
that he
DeMar
can.
had, yeah.
DeMar's been really clutch, especially in the fourth quarter. He's been a great player for us this season. There's really no complaints about it. I just don't know what the ceiling is when DeMar is your best player. That's all.
So guys, to close this out, I had a trivia question. Obviously the Bulls hadn't won in Denver in like 15 years at Denver, and they barely won that game even without Jokic.
Yeah.
They still got the victors, whatever. Can you guys name 5 players on the Bulls in the Bulls lineup the last time they won at Denver?
What year was it? 2013?
15 years ago.
15 years ago.
So 2006.
6.
Ben Gordon.
Let's say Ben
Yeah.
Gordon.
Kurt Heinrich.
Yeah.
Andres Nocioni.
Yes.
Luol Deng.
Yes. So I said 5. I knew you guys would get a lot of these.
Noah? Or was that early?
No, it's too early. Not Corey Benjamin. Not Corey Benjamin.
Give us some hints.
Oh my gosh, this guy headband. Ronnie Brewer?
No, this one of them played at
It's too
Duke. The other guy was a second overall pick.
Duke.
These are the 2 guys I think you would get. Because there's 6 I thought you'd get. It said 5.
Oh, what's his name?
Played at Duke.
The athletic guy.
Point guard at Duke.
Oh, point guard. Jay Williams?
No, it's too late for that.
Too late for that. And he only played like one season, right?
Ooh, give us another hint.
Yeah.
I think he was like 4th in Joey's rankings last year in one of the categories.
On my point guard rankings.
Point guard at Duke. Why am I blanking on this guy?
Not John Lucas, not Nate Robbins.
Tyrese. No, what is his name?
Tyrese.
No, Tyrese. Tyrese Thomas.
No, it's he went to LSU.
Chris Duhon.
Yes.
Chris Duhon. Wow, that's a deep cut.
Duhon.
And then Tyson Chandler was the other one I thought you guys might get.
Chandler.
He played 36 minutes. Tyson did some things.
He's
Anyways.
an NBA champion, man.
Oh, he earned that championship.
With
That
the
rim
Mavs,
protector,
baby.
man.
Yeah. All right. Good Bulls talk. We'll be back next week with some more pessimistic stuff on the Bulls, I'm sure. But let's get into our final topic tonight. Teased it last week. The great debate is on. Steph.
Can we have like a segment
Kobe.
thing for this? Great debate.
The great debate. Oh, we should drop something in here, Adam.
Yeah, drop a little gavel sound or a little,
He's
like-
not
like-
gonna do it.
He's like
Little
like
40 minutes.
Judge Judy action.
He's like 40 minutes,
He's
please.
like, so down.
He's like, guys.
These are 40. Let's go.
Right at 40 minutes, just drop a gavel. The great debate.
You want like a Law and Order one?
Yes.
Oh, please.
Yeah, but not the Law and Order one.
I think Michelle would actually listen to it if I told her it was a Law and Order drop. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so the question was brought up by loyal listener Richie. Who is the better player, Steph or Kobe Bryant? Steph Curry or Kobe Bryant? And let's go ahead and take a debate. Let's go to you, Chris, because you said you had some stats, so you got deep into it. So the way we're going to do this,
I got
Chris,
the breakdown.
Chris is going to argue for Kobe because he believes Kobe's the better player. I believe Steph Curry is the better player, and Joey is undecided. So he's just going to hang out, he's listen to our debate, and
I'm going to be the judge.
He'll be the judge. He will decide.
I'm going to level my decision based on facts.
The
and
verdict
merit.
will be brought tonight.
Let's go.
Okay.
All right, Chris.
So I'm taking the for the sake of this debate. Notes. I'm taking Kobe Bryant.
Objection. Objection, Your Honor.
I'm just saying.
Sorry, is that too early?
Hang on.
Denied.
Let's get some.
Mute
Obviously, we all
your
know Kobe Bryant, 5-time champion, 2 times final MVP, 1-time MVP, 18-time All-Star. He played 20 seasons. 18 of those 20 seasons, he was an All-Star. My favorite thing of his accolades is he was a 4-time All-Star MVP, which is the most times anyone's ever won All-Star MVP. It's like cool. If you want to describe Kobe's personality, that's the stat to do it.
It's the only stat.
The fact that he always, rose up, and even regardless of whatever of a nothing game, he always wanted to be MVP. So, 4-time All-Star MVP, 11-time first team All NBA, 2-time second, 2-time third, 9-time all. So this is what can separate him apart from Stephen Curry is the 9-time defensive first team, 3-time second team, and a 2-time scoring champ. And I'm pretty sure he's also the only guy with 2 retired numbers with 8 and 24. And then what else we got here? 25 points per game, 4.7 assists, 5.2 rebounds. He averaged 3 turnovers a game. Titus, I don't know if you have that stat. I hope you do. 45%
for
percentage, 33, 3, 19.8 field goal, 84 free throws.
We're just reading numbers right now.
Percentage. Sorry, let me stop reading numbers. He was also part of the last team to three-peat. Because of LeBron, no team has really repeated for and against LeBron is the reason why nobody's really repeated in the last
objection.
20
LeBron
years
does not matter in this conversation.
He will matter. He will factor into my argument.
He does.
Please strike his
and also
name
at
for
23, Kobe Bryant was the youngest player to already have 3 championships. He was also the youngest player to 26,000
Thank you, Shaq.
Points.
Thank you, Shaq.
So Kobe Bryant, he was pretty good.
All right, so let me get this right. So your main arguments are his defensive numbers.
That he was awesome.
His All-Star MVPs, his many All-Star game appearances. He has 2 retired numbers, and his just overall relatively efficient basketball. That's what I'm hearing.
I don't know about efficient. I would say
efficient would be the word I'd use for Kobe.
Fighter. He was always he won.
Fighter.
He's a winner.
He's a winner. He's a winner.
And he won the championship, and then he won 3 more, or won 2 more after that.
Again,
so
thank you, Shaq.
Championships in
thank
5
you,
seasons.
Shaquille O'Neal.
Okay.
Top 10 player of all time, Shaquille O'Neal. Thank you for those 3 first titles. Look,
so Steph Curry, Titus.
Steph Curry. I'm going to go ahead and make my points. And I'm going to keep it simple. There's a lot of stats I could bring up. I could bring up that Steph is the only unanimous MVP winner. Could bring that up. Don't really need it. I could say he won back-to-back MVPs, league MVPs. Again, could bring that up. The only thing I really needed to bring up is Steph is the greatest shooter of all time. And Kobe, as great as he was a great, great, great player. You will not hear an argument from me. I will eventually bring up a top 5 list all time. Kobe is just outside of it. But Steph is the greatest at something, at a single aspect of the game, and that is shooting. And he's far and away the best shooter of all time. I think No Dunks guys brought up a stat that he has 38 or something, 9 plus 3 games where he's made 9 plus 3s, and that's more than all the other 9 plus 3 games combined in history. More than Harden, Kobe, all these guys. He is far and away the best shooter of all time. I looked up some of their stats and compared them. Regular season stats, they're very comparable. Steph has better shooting percentages. He has similar scoring, maybe a little bit less scoring, but he's in most of the production stats, rebounds, assists, steals. He's over Kobe. when you look at the playoffs specifically, he is better than Kobe in all those categories. The only thing he wasn't better than Kobe in was turnovers. He has more turnovers. I mean, he also handled the ball a little more than Kobe does. But I brought it up in our group chat: rebounds, assists, points, and then all the percentages in the playoffs. Steph is better than Kobe. And that was a surprise for me because Kobe is a legendary clutch player, legendary finals runs. He's great. Steph doesn't have like a finals MVP, doesn't have maybe the finals moments that Kobe does. But for me, the crux of my argument is going to be that Steph changed the game in a way that Kobe didn't. I will steal Chris's quote from last week as we went off the chat, and Joy made sure we wrote it down. Chris said this. He said, Steph changed the game. Kobe mimicked it at an elite level, which I feel is true. Kobe was maybe one of the greatest scorers of all time, if not the greatest scorer of all time, maybe behind only Jordan is a scorer, pure scorer. But the way Steph can shoot, the way he really did change the game, he changed it in a way that Jordan kind of changed it. And I think that Kobe came behind Jordan and tried to mimic Jordan as much as he could, and he got as close as anybody has ever come to being Jordan. But he didn't redefine the game the way Steph did. And I think so. I wanted to bring up my top 5 list. I do have a top 5 list, all-time players. I might start some controversy here. Number 1 for me is LeBron. Number 2 is MJ. Number 3 is Kareem. Number 4 is Russell. And then number 5, I have Steph Curry. I think Steph Curry
Russell Westbrook. Wow.
No,
okay. I'm just kidding.
Bill Russell.
Bill Russell.
Thank you.
I was waiting.
And then you put Steph Curry 5.
Steph Curry 5. I wanted to put
Steph
Curry third
over Magic. Anyway, man.
Yeah. So my next 5 after them, and I didn't order the next 5. It's Magic, Bird, Shaq, Kobe, Duncan. I felt like that was my next 5 after, and I feel like in some order.
Whoa.
Right,
Duncan's like 4 spots too low.
Well, I said the next 5 I didn't rank.
We're discussing Kobe and Steph.
All right, Kobe and Steph.
Yeah, we're supposed to be. Terry, so get me off topic here.
Ooh. So this is all right. Where am I going with this? My point is, this is all hearsay. This is all off topic. Oh man, the Bulls are coming back up. All right, but my point is, I think that when it's all set, and the other thing is, Steph is only halfway through his career. And looking at his numbers, he is basically on pace 31. To kind of catch. Well, I mean, as far as
he's got 7 seasons to go to match how long Kobe played.
So I don't think he will get there, but he can maybe hang around as a shooter. He's not going to be
he's
the elite
2/3 of the way through his career.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so 2/3 of the way. But I think when it's all said and done, when he finally hangs him up, he will be considered the better player than Kobe Bryant. And I think that he can be considered if he stopped playing today. I think he would be considered the better player than Kobe Bryant.
So that's what you're saying. I rest
my case.
Right now, he would be considered better. He's got 3 championships and 0 Finals MVPs. You're talking about Shaq being the 3 final winners. But who was the Finals MVPs when Steph was in the?
Are we gonna? Do I need to bring up Iguodala? I need to bring up Iguodala.
I think you need to bring up Draymond. I think you need to bring up Klay Thompson. He had so much help. You know who was on the roster with Kobe, with Shaq? We had Derek Fisher. We had Ron Harper.
Wow.
Ron Harper was the second leading. Actually, Glenn Rice was the second leading scorer.
Lamar Odom.
No. I'm talking about the first championship. With
Shaquille O'Neal.
With Shaq.
It was just him and
Shaq.
Dominant
player in NBA
him and Shaq.
You got me there.
And then you got Ron Harper. You don't got Draymond. You don't got Clay. You don't have all these Hall of Famers on your team. Steph Curry is a fantastic player. I love the guy. He still has some work to do. If he can do what he's doing right now this season, I think what Titus is talking about is really getting into. He's really thinking too far ahead. He's really like Steph Curry has already won 2 or 3 more championships. And he's already saying that he's better than Kobe. Curry can get hurt tomorrow. His ankles can break down like they did early in his career, and he can be done. And if he's done now, we look back on it. I don't think he's better than Kobe. We're talking about sharpshooters. The first championship that Kobe Bryant won was against the original sharpshooter, the OG, and Reggie Miller over the Indiana Pacers. So Kobe already proved that he could beat the sharpshooters, even though I guess, Shaq, he averaged 38 points a game, which is insane. But still, Shaq was awesome. It's so stupid what Shaq was able to do.
No, and
but still,
Kobe
did,
No, I hear what you're saying. Kobe is he's a beast, man. You're not gonna get me to argue that he wasn't. He was an absolute beast. I just think that the early wins, a lot of that is on the shoulders of Shaq. Look, I mean, Steph played with Durant, who was also, going to be potentially a top 10 player of all time. You know what I mean? That he's very much in the conversation of that. But to me, it just comes down to that fact of that Steph changed the game. He plays the game. The way he shoots the three is so far beyond anybody that I think that there was certain players. I'm trying to remember the players. Because I think it might have been like Wilt or something like that. But I had all right, so Jordan came and everybody wanted to be like Jordan. Steph came and everybody wanted to be like Steph. I just don't think Kobe had that. I mean, Kobe did it for a moment, but not the way that Steph and MJ did. Go ahead, Chris.
You know who else changed the game? Steve Nash, Mike D'Antoni.
Who are we just saying?
Are you kidding?
No, they didn't.
The 7 seconds offense?
No, they didn't.
Who's running 7 seconds offense to everybody because of what the Phoenix Suns did?
I mean, they started some of that
They
stuff.
were the original team to change
the game.
They 100% changed the game.
No, I disagree strongly.
How could you strongly disagree?
You get yelled at by
You
the
can't
judge.
you can't say that the 7-second offense changed the game more than Steph Curry.
Yes.
No,
Yes,
everybody's
I did say
running.
that.
Everybody's running up tempo today because of that offense.
because of Steph Curry.
No, because of
I
the
think
Phoenix
to the
Suns.
line and shoots a three.
Because
So,
of Mike D'Antoni, what
hold
he
on.
did in Houston and in Phoenix.
No,
To Chris's point, I
kidding?
think there was some predecessors to Steph. I think Reggie for sure.
It's not. You guys are insane. This thing that Stephen Curry is the reason why everyone's playing this way today. It's not because of Stephen Curry, guys. It's because of what everybody saw.
He perfected
up
that
tempo
style.
offenses and with blitz defenses and what you can do with that. It's because of what the Phoenix Suns were running. The only reason Phoenix Suns didn't win is because the Spurs had more talent and because they were more. The Spurs didn't do anything different, but I'm always going to say Duncan's a better player than Amari Stoudemire. He didn't change the game, but he was a better player, right? Like, even though players like Steve Nash changed the game 100%.
okay.
I see where you're coming from, but I
do too.
at the end of the day, I think that
I do.
they were like the beginnings of they were starting the change, and then it was when Steph Curry hit the scene. That's when the change became a permanent thing. Because the other thing is that
kind of modern. What's the word? Not modernized it, but like made it.
Well, he made like what modern basketball.
He kind of
is,
mainstreamed it, I guess.
He mainstreamed
right?
it. Yeah. He was the Beastie Boys. He was the guy that like made hip hop mainstream. It was all kind of underground at first, and then they show up with you got to fight for your right.
Who was before Beastie Boys? Is there
all kinds of guys, man? NWA. I've read a book a while back, but I'm lost now.
Wait, so Beastie Boys are considered the?
Well, they were the ones that got
Well, no.
Hold up.
So yeah, Adam might be the guy to answer.
Now wait a second here. Beastie, what's
made
your
it like-
claim, Titus?
No, that they kind of helped
Brought
usher
hip-hop
in
mainstream.
hip hop to mainstream. That it was very like people didn't like it when it was first coming out. It was like Public Enemy, NWA, and those guys were the guys that Ice Cube.
Was it just because they were white? Is that what?
It's kinda that. Like,
you're kind of teetering on a white.
I don't want to say
here.
like it's like but that's kind of
like Eminem. Everyone liked Eminem. Even though he was so as explicit as everyone else.
Yeah.
He was still more accepted.
I mean,
it was like this.
really, if you're talking, you can get really down in the weeds about this, but I mean, essentially, how can I put this?
Well, they were the ones that like they had the poppy hits, right? Or no? I'm a little as far as the
I think
timeline. and
okay. They were able to kind of cross into a pop realm, I would say, more easily than others. But you're kind of it's kind of foggy because depending on what kind of chart you're looking at and what kind of popularity you're looking at, because like in some areas of the country or the world, hip hop's been around for a long time, especially like in the 70s, even in the late 70s. You can consider like MCs
Yeah,
as
that was where it
hip-hop
started.
people.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, that's like, you know, and this is not a music channel at all, so I'm not even gonna get
Oh,
there.
I love
But
That's why you're here. No,
Titus isn't wrong. It just there's other right answers.
I think it's, yeah, it's
Music
a
Man,
very
the
simplified
Music Dude
version.
70 doesn't agree with Titus's metaphor here.
Who?
But yeah,
Wow, you're really pulling that one out.
Adam's original screen name
Oh.
on AOL was Music Dude 70.
Also, yeah, real deep.
Yeah, let's not go down this road. But anyways,
Also,
yeah,
I did actually learn a stat. Last week I heard. So there were two people, because I pulled it up just to make sure. There were two people in the NBA that have broken the most backboards. Do you know who those two are?
Shaq.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Wallace.
Why?
Wilt Chamberlain.
Daryl Dawkins.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, that's a good one.
And this I didn't know. I didn't know the specifics. So Daryl Dawkins actually is credited for being the person to cause the NBA to introduce breakaway rims. But back in 92 and 93 when Shaq was playing, he kept breaking them still. So they actually made the NBA increase the steel brace strength and increase stability of the backboards to prevent the hoop from falling down.
Yeah, Shaq was a beast.
Also,
He
a
had to
technical
take a
foul
step
for
further.
backboard
From the
shattering
Chocolate
was also
Thunder.
introduced.
All right, Joey.
There you go.
I think you've heard the cases. I think the cases have wound down now.
That was
Okay.
Daryl Dawkins. Yeah.
You're lagging, Chris. Oh, we got some comments too in the chat. So
There you go. Big Daddy Dawkins.
Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. Close some windows, Chris. Daryl Dawkins. Oh, he called
Down
it.
some windows.
Chocolate Thunder.
He's frozen.
Goes, all right. Well, he's frozen.
I
let's
did.
go-
All right,
close
he's
some
good.
windows.
He's back.
Let's go.
All right.
Let's go to Joey. What do you think, man?
My
I
back.
heard the arguments. Yes, Chris, we can hear you. We got you. So, according to Basketball Reference, at some point in time, they both were considered Kobe and Steph playing the same position. Okay, shooting guards. So, I'm going to go in this route, right, and consider them near equals in terms of the type of role that they served as a player. I'm going to give more points to Kobe for his performance in finals and championship and all-star type games. I'm going to give Steph more points in favor of his impact to the way the game is played, mostly because 3 points are worth more than 2 points, and Steph hitting a 3-point shot is more killer to a team than Kobe hitting a 2-point kind of fadeaway jumper. Okay. All that being said, I'm going to come down to some of the substats I think that you guys called out that become very important. Those are turnovers, those are assists, those are rebounds.
Splitting hairs here.
I'm splitting hairs because I think that's where we got to go. You guys made very good cases, right?
True.
So Kobe wins the rebound game by just over 1 rebound.
It's also 6'8".
He wins the rebound game by just over 1. Again, same position, right? That's
True.
how we're looking
True.
at this. Okay.
True.
Steph wins the steals game by just over about half a steal. But the big deciding point here is that Steph wins the assists game by nearly 3 assists.
He passes.
I think because of the assists and the impact that Steph has to his team as well as himself, I'm going to side with
Chris's
Steph
face
Curry
right now.
being the better player. And that is a very thin hair to split. I mean,
yeah, we're going down to assists.
We're talking sometimes he passed the ball more than Kobe did. And there's probably an argument to go the exact other way that say that, oh, hey,
Yeah.
Kobe's ability to not pass the ball and just make killer shots in clutch moments is better. But nobody brought that argument to me. So I don't have the clutch stats, so I don't know what
On
it
the
is.
evidence you've seen.
The evidence I've
brought.
seen, I'm going to go with Steph by the thinnest of
Razor
gray
thin
hairs that
hair.
are in my side of my head.
I accept your verdict as it stands. Chris, how do you feel about
I'm
the
gonna be
judgment?
like Atticus Finch, and like even though I didn't
Wow.
agree.
Book club 2.0.
I wasn't even on. I wasn't even like. I didn't really want Kobe to win this. I'm just gonna walk out of here. Be like, yeah, it's fine. I understand. I respect your decision. I don't agree with it, but it's fine. I'm done.
Thank
I'm
you.
out.
Thank you for arguing for Kobe. Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. I think they're both top 10 players all time, and I don't think that can be argued.
Yeah, and you could probably argue them in the same position at any given night.
Yeah, they're. I mean, like you said, it was so hard to debate them. It really is like splitting hairs. It was like when I started like making a list of my top 10 and top 5. Like honestly, behind LeBron and MJ, it was just like okay, literally you can make an argument for anybody else of those 10 guys I named, and like add in Durant, add in Giannis.
When you started making that list, and you said Duncan 10th, and I was just
no, he should be
busted a nerve
10th.
in me. That was, but I love this. I love this. Who do we think kind of thing? This judge and jury.
It's fun.
Kind of
Yes,
execution.
we'll do this
I know
again.
this is already used on other pods, but we should do this again. Appreciate you, Richie, for sending this in. Send in more if you have any more.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, if you want us to debate other 2 players,
let us know what you think of this as well. If we actually did it well, or if you're not satisfied with their findings. What does he think? Does he like Kobe more?
He is split. His initial gut thought was Steph, and after he looked into it a little bit, he was kind of like I was, where he could have been convinced either way at any given day.
That's good, man.
I think is the right answer.
I did tell you guys last week, Steph is my my favorite player to watch ever. So
yeah,
fair.
Let's see what this.
I also had a joke with. I thought I was going to confuse it that we're going to talk about Kobe White. I had his stats up. He was second team All Rookie, North Carolina Mr. Basketball in 2018, and he shares the record for most threes made in the game with 8 with another teammate. So, but anyways, didn't need to go down that road.
We went deep there. All right. Thank you, Polar Knights, for your comment. It's like the perfect evolution of beards. Is it? You talking about us?
Do we have?
Yeah, I thought he was talking about Kobe and Steph, and I was trying to figure out how that made sense, but maybe he is talking about us.
Us. Like he's Adam's clean shaven. Chris has got a little stubble, and then me and Joey got the little.
I like it. Well, thank you.
Thank you
for talking about us.
It's a more hair talk from
there you go
from the Twitch stream.
Spread the good word about the Box Out Boys. We're here every week
please.
on Wednesdays at 8:30.
Every weekend Wednesdays. Well, that's it for us tonight. Join us next week. It's a long one today. Join us next week to talk more NBA basketball. But maybe we debate more players. Who knows? Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch at the Box Out Boys. Slide into those DMs. Join us live Wednesdays around 8:30. Send us an email to theboxoutboys@gmail.com. We'd love to debate other questions, other players, anything you guys can think up. And as always, like, subscribe wherever you listen to this at now. We very much appreciate it. So for Chris, Joey, and Adam, I'm Titus. Until next time, Box Out!